Theme parks have been a part of my life since probably the day I was born, and it's nice to have some good news for a change. But of course there's somebody against it.
Ladies and gentlemen, hiss and foes, welcome to the Culture Casino!
Because good news is so hard to come by, when I come by it, I like to share it. And one of the things I like to share is my love for theme parks. In particular, and prior to a lot of their recent virtue signaling, the Disney Corporation. Now, Walt Disney World is about to reopen, which is very good news for the economy in Florida and incredibly good news for the Disney company as a whole. And now we're talking about tens of thousands of employees. In fact, one of the largest employers in the state of Florida is Walt Disney World. Now, all of these cast members are returning back to their jobs because they need to. And they obviously have a job there. But there is one group of people that doesn't want them to return. In fact, the Actors Equity Association has gone beyond just urging their people to not return. They have been urging them not to return unless they are granted COVID-19 testing. Now, the phased reopening of Disney World starts on July 11th, so in about a week or less. I mean, just a few days from now. So why would this organization that supposedly is partially representing some of these folks want to keep them from working? It doesn't make a lot of sense. On the official blog post today for the Disney Parks blog, and this was, mind you, from July 3rd, Laurel Slater, manager of communications at the Walt Disney World Public Affairs, writes, "With just 8 days until we reopen our first theme parks at Walt Disney World Resort, tens of thousands of cast members have been straightening up our name tags and grabbing our face coverings as we begin to return to work. As we count down to the phased reopening of our theme parks, we are looking forward to welcoming our fellow cast members home to begin training in preparation for the reopening." Now, the blog post goes even further and basically breaks down what they anticipate will be happening for themselves, the parks, the guests, and primarily the cast members. But at the same time that they release this information, and as they go to Twitter to give everybody the news, they have the following Twitter post, which says, "Walt Disney World Resort cast members prepare for opening with health and safety focus." Now, we've heard of the many, many ways that Disney World is going to go about reopening their parks in a very safe manner, not just for the guests, but for the employees as well. This includes changes in the way they do housekeeping. It includes changes in the way that they will sterilize or sanitize, however you want to look at that, the ride equipment. It's changing their positioning for load and unload. It's the addition of hand sanitizer stations at the beginning and end of rides, etc., etc. Now, after that post, of course, the Actors Equity Guild folks decided they would slap something else on to what Disney stated in their thing and quoted it in a quote tweet that says, "If you are focusing on safety, we hope you will test performers, since there were 10,000 new cases of Voldemort yesterday alone." And I find that interesting. They went out of their way to financially tag the company with the $DIS, with the hopes of, I don't know, trying to sway investors that it's a good idea not to try to generate revenue. I think that's extra dumb. Now, the several programs have been suspended at Disney World. The international program that brought in guests from multiple countries from around the world to work at the parks, and specifically at World Showcase in the Epcot theme park, which added, authenticity to the area. The folks were from the countries that they were representing, and they give you an opportunity to, get an opportunity to deal with people from around the world, even if, unfortunately, you were, stuck in the United States your entire life. They also had to indefinitely suspend their college program, which brought young folks in to not only get an education, but to also train and work in one of the theme parks. And of course, that's a real shame, but it makes an awful lot of sense. Some of the housing where cast members for those programs were housed have now been cleaned from ceiling to floor in preparation for the return, which again is an unknown. But it's quite possible that those positions may not be open for at least a year or longer. And with that, these parks are opening in a very small capacity. In fact, less than 1/3 of the total park's capacity, and mind you, there are 4 parks, will actually be occupied by guests, which means that there will be restaurants that are closed. They've already announced those. It means that there will be a few rides that will be unavailable, or as Disney calls them, attractions. It also means that restaurants will be severely limited in all of the parks. They've already gone through the process of reopening the downtown Disney area, which is now called Disney Springs in Florida. And that Disney Springs area seemed to go very, very well until they closed one of their bars, only to reopen it again. All in all, I think that people have to work. I think we live in a world where in order to, eat, pay rent, have a place to, sleep and retreat to is very, very, very important. And I don't see a whole lot of opportunities to earn money outside of, having a job. So when organizations like this that are supposed to represent these folks get in the way, it's terribly frustrating. Now, I love theme parks, which means that when the parks open, which is coming up quickly, I will be arriving in the Walt Disney area shortly thereafter. In fact, I'll be pre-recording some videos and doing a couple of short live videos from the Walt Disney World Resort. Sometime next week, actually. So stay tuned. Otherwise, take a look at everything that's going on around this Voldemort that we've been experiencing across the country, and I think you will come to realize that we are always in a position where we are unsafe when we walk out the door. And I think that all we can do is take the safety precautions that we take on any other day, which when you get in your car would include wearing your seatbelt. When you are, exposing yourself to a harsh climate, let's say the cold, you put on a coat. So to me, if you're taking the precautions to take care of yourself in the best possible way, that's the best you can do. And that's also the best that you can do as an employee when you go back to work. And if your work requires you to do specific things to accomplish your job, you should do that. Anyway, thanks for stopping by today. I know that was kind of a ranty little video, but I'm frustrated with groups and organizations that purport to care for their employees only to keep them from actually earning a living. Thanks for spending the time here today. I appreciate it. Be sure to support other independent creators on YouTube because they certainly could use that right now. Take care of yourself. Take care of others. Wash your hands. And until next time, bye.
Thanks for visiting today. Be sure you're subscribed and hit that for alerts.
Yay!
Of course, like and share all of the videos that you can as it helps with the algorithm. Have a great day.